Right, folks, I've got the expert golf truth tellers here on the line. It's Mike and it's Shaun from AMG. You know them as Athletic Motion Golf. Hey, you two guys, man, I love you. I feel like you kindred spirits. I love the truth you're bringing to golf instruction, and God bless you. So thank you, and thanks for joining the show. How are you?
Great, man. Thanks for having us.
Shaun, you're going to say something?
Yeah, appreciate it, man. I let Mike go first. Yeah, thank you.
You're being,
Appreciate you having us on.
you're being so polite. You're letting the elder statesman go first, huh?
Yeah,
Is that
it's
what it is? All right.
I got to say something, Mark, before
What's that?
before we get started.
Hmm.
Your podcast with Scotty, his coach,
Oh, yeah. And
Randy,
Randy.
was fantastic. I've watched that twice back and forth to Georgia, and it's so refreshing to listen to a coach that took a player at 10 years old to number
That's
one in the
crazy.
world. I mean, has that ever happened before?
That's crazy.
Well, you guys work with elite golfers. I mean, me too. Think about our carousel. We hired this morning and fired this afternoon if they hit a few back.
Hmm.
So
That's right.
there's a certain amount of loyalty from Scotty too, which is so refreshing.
Absolutely.
And you know what? That's a good starting off point for you guys. And I want you both to chime in because I've long believed, because I've taught golfers where I've said stuff to them, and then you can see it's just, or they're like, not so much. But then all of a sudden, 2, 3 weeks later, they come to me and they're like, I've been thinking, and I've got this idea. And I'm like, strange you would be saying that back to me right now.
Hmm.
So I see you laughing because I long believe, and this is for all the learners who now want to get better. You can go for a lesson with the AMG guys, but when the student is ready, the teacher will show up. How many times have people come to you where they're like got their own conceptions and stuff, and you talk to them and they're basically coming back with some sort of rebuttal? I'll let you kick off with that.
Yeah,
Well, you
I was.
go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I'm just going to say I was laughing because I give my dad about one lesson a year.
Okay.
And for the last 20 years, it's been you're standing too far away from the ball. You're standing too far away from the ball.
Right.
And then he called me a couple months ago and he goes, I was watching the Golf Channel and they were talking about how most golfers stand too far away from the ball. And he goes, this made a huge difference.
Who knew?
So that's why I was laughing. But yeah, you did on.
Sean, you work with the elite ones. Talk a little bit about that.
Uh, you know, you don't get too much pushback anymore just because we put so much information out there online and with using data that, not a lot of pushback, but any pushback that we get, you know, I think some of it would be from even higher handicappers that you tell them something and they're just mind blown that it's totally opposite of what they've been trying to do. And we do get that.
Mm.
And I just have to say, listen, the undoing of this is going to be harder than the doing. So you almost have to let go of all these ideas that you think are supposed to happen and start from scratch. Because if you're trying to do what I'm telling you with a little bit of this and that sprinkled in, it's not going to work to the point where Mike and I, we teach a lot of lessons together, and a lot of the lesson is almost like, hey, you got to tell us what you've been working on. Don't be embarrassed. I don't care if you went to this teacher or that teacher, but I need to know what you've been trying to do, because if you're putting something in the swing that I don't even know it's there, what I'm telling you isn't going to jive. So there's quite a bit of that, over the years.
I call it, I'll let you keep it. I call it Advil for the golf swing, where like the grill room, the men's grill room, right, or the practice tee, the folks are doling the stuff out, like keep your head down, swing slow, keep your left arm straight, all that kind of stuff, turn your body, and everyone knows it, and they're handing it to their buds. And the next thing, their poor friend is doing like 4 or 5 wrong things
Yeah.
but they're aspirant to be doing better. And leaving those myths, if you will, is a big mental shift. You feel right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
especially if it goes dead against what they've been trying to do.
Mm.
yeah. And,
Okay.
and to Sean's point, it's so beneficial for us to know the concepts that they're trying to implement, because that dictates everything you try to do. If you're trying to have impact by pulling the hands across the body, that's a different set of things you're trying to do versus how it actually happens. So it's helpful to know that.
There was a guy even in the school. Yes, we do a golf school once a month, or 4 people will fly in,
Mhm.
and I'm working with this guy trying to figure out why his trail hip keeps over sliding to the right. I think it was like 4 inches to the right by the top of the swing when we got on gears. I'm sitting here thinking, this shouldn't be too hard. Let's get the shoulder moving across a little bit, the hip going a little more behind you, so you're not, so you're not this way as much, a
Yeah.
little more this way. And finally, I'm like, man, this guy's just not getting this. Hey, what have you been taught to do? And he said, yeah, I was taught to take my shoulder down toward the ground. So, after 6 hours or 4 hours of working on the same thing, it finally came out. So changing the concept of where the shoulder went allowed him to get the hip more in line at the top, so it's not so far to the right. So a lot of that goes on.
That's so much of what I preach, and my goal with this show is, look, knowledge is one thing, and the internet is rampant with stuff. If you type in golf instructional tips or whatever, but the understanding of the concept and how it applies to oneself, I think, is the crucial thing. And this is where you guys do such great work with the help of all the research you do through Gears. So let's kick it off here. It's Mike and Shaun there from AMG. If you're not following them, you should. You're missing a beat. Let's help golfers to the real truth. Now, I've got a few concepts, and you guys were laughing when I hit record. I've got to create shaft lean at impact. So we've got a bunch of handle draggers. I've got to rotate for power. And the next thing, you got guys, right-handers hitting right field like in the blink of an eye. Then there's, I watched this video and I'm too steep coming down. And the next thing, this guy is hitting someone behind him. The shafts are shallow and he can't get the club back to the ball. So let's start. Let's start with the shallowing thing because it's quite in vogue still. You guys have done various videos about shallowing the shaft. Now, I'm going to say something controversial, and I'm prepared for the heat on social. Right?
you get some. You can take some.
Yeah, we go.
On the pod.
Yeah, I feel like, and I reached out to you guys for a little laser that I've stuck on the bottom of my child's club, and it's changed her life. In fact,
that's awesome.
The coach at Alabama is like, man, you got the best technique of all the freshmen coming in, because
wow.
Okay, so listen to this. So with this laser, she felt on the downswing that she was actually a little steeper with longer clubs like the 3-wood and the driver, as opposed to the long stuff falling behind so much and getting completely stuck. So let's talk about shallowing and some of the things you guys have done, please.
Yeah, this is so to really understand this, you kind of have to detach yourself from seeing the golf swing only in that down the line perspective.
Yeah.
And if you think of what the club is doing, so if we could all, like that old movie where you get shrunk and you could, run through the lawn and the ants were the size of houses. Like if you could sit on the golf shaft at address, the shaft gets flipped upside down, right in the backswing, and it just goes upside down. So that's about as steep as you can make a club move, just flip it upside down. Yeah. Now the body turns, so the shaft is basically roughly horizontal to the ground. So it's as shallow as it's ever going to be in the golf swing at the top. You don't try to make it go shallower than that, because now you got to deal with the club face issue ramifications of that. You're trying to just lower that shallow and turn as it will steepen.
Yeah.
So in Gears, we're able to look straight down the plane line. And when you look at Roy McIlroy, DJ, Rahm, these guys are, when you're looking at the plane line, they're steepening the club pretty much all the way down. Now, because the body's turning and the camera's not moving, it doesn't look like that. But it's such a freeing concept when golfers can understand that. Like, I've been trying to drive the elbow and flip the club behind me and all that. And, we had a U.S. Open winner in, and she said, I've never shanked a ball until someone showed me how I was shallowing it wrong.
Yeah. Okay, Shaun, I'm kicking this to you because Mike's got me going here, because most folks are like, okay, I've got to shallow this thing. And then instead of just doing it through, gravitational force and moving correctly, right? They start just, I got to get this thing down. So they just tilt their body in the opposite direction of the target. They start landing early. The clubs push so far out of position. They're hitting heels, and it just gets messy. And then they're like, well, I'm supposed to do this to hit a draw, right? Have a go.
Yeah. So, I mean, we need to start filming more lessons, because I can't remember the last time we've actually had to tell somebody to shallow the club in the downswing. So, we've gotten pretty good at getting things in a spot at the top of the swing and teaching people that how you go into the top of the swing is what allows you to come out of the top of the swing correctly. And almost like if you threw me a football over here, I'm going to catch it differently and throw it back to you than if you threw it over here and I had to throw it back to you. So catching the weight of that club as it comes back, we call it the sickle or the swoosh, as that club head is finishing.
Yeah.
And let's just say it was coming, it's at its deepest point, it gets to its highest point and then tracks back down towards you. If it does that and you just turn and lower your arm, the club shallows. So there's almost to the point where, good players need to feel a little more, like Mike said, kind of tipping out in front of them here later in the downswing. So, if you can go about this, if you think, oh, I'm steep, you need to look at how the club is tracking from, let's say, left arm parallel to the top.
Yeah.
Is it making a motion that if it kept going, it would hit you in the back of the neck, no matter where it stops?
Okay.
Now, if you do that, get your body situated in your arms with some width, and you start turning and shifting the body, that right arm is going to reconnect and the club is going to be shallow without you having to do it. So I think all this manual shallowing that's going on is kind of ruining the whole legion of golfers.
Sensational.
Do that.
Okay. Wait 1 sec, Mike.
Yeah, sure.
For audio listeners, you guys to go to YouTube, search for me, follow this thing, because Shaun is doing a great job of demonstrating what he was just saying. All right, Mike, have at it.
John, can you do that again and kind of put your back more towards the camera so we can see that from almost up?
And I'll show the bad transition too. So back towards the camera like this.
Yeah. Take it and show the sickle from that point of view.
So the sickle, it's at as deep. The club head is at its deepest point, goes to the highest point, and then down tracks towards my neck. But I don't have a long backswing, so mine hangs out 3/4. But the track of that is there. Now I'm going to turn and shift my body to start the downswing. The way I do that puts some momentum downward too, so my right arm reconnects. I'm as shallow as I would ever need to be.
Exactly right.
Without any of this motion. Now, this is where I think we can help the most people. So you have to be very careful of making a backswing with hands in, club out. If you overdo, go ahead.
We'll stop there.
Okay, I was getting to my best point. Sorry,
okay, I need 5 seconds. Hold that thought.
All right.
Folks, what Shaun was demonstrating there is, I want you to imagine Matthew Wolff in a way, where the club stays way out. And Shaun, I'm hearing this all the time. Everyone's starting to swing. You're like, hands in, club it out. Hands in, club it out. Hands in, club it out. And I work every weekend watching the best at their very best. And I don't see any of this sort of stuff. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, this could be such a good podcast.
The opposite of one problem, sucking the club head in, is not the fix. It's rarely the fix.
All right,
the opposite of one issue is not going to be the fix. It's how I think us golfers like to think in opposites. If I'm steep, I'm just going to go the opposite. Yeah. Steep is much closer to the right than the opposite is.
So when you think about the way the club moves, okay, so it's out, it's in front of you at setup, right? The club is out this way. Anytime, this is how I think about the backswing. We've helped a lot of people with this idea. Anytime the club is out in front of you, this way, it should be, it's going to be below your hands.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, right.
There's a switch point when it gets in line with your hands. Anytime the club is above your hands, you can go ahead and allow it to swing inside your hands. So trying to keep it above and outside, eventually that club's going to flop. In a late flopped club that's flopping in the laid off direction, 99 times out of 100, when a golfer pulls on that, it's tumbling out too much. So you're weighing this balancing act. So you could try to do this, but you're going to have to put an extra move in there to keep this thing behind you coming down. And I think that it's not an easy way to do it.
Okay, and not that Matthew Wolff is catching drive-bys here or strays.
Right. No. You can do it.
But I need to say this. Someone like a Wolff, where you got that pronounced move, you got to be rotating like awfully hard and awfully early to get the club back online, yes?
100%. Yeah. And then you start introducing, okay, now what do I do with a 3-wood off a side hill lie? How am I going to get the club back out from you? See, I think you create holes in your game a little bit. You might struggle with bunker shots because the club is dropping so rapidly. So
just wedge shots.
Yeah, I think you're trying to build a swing that removes some of the holes where, like, okay, I can hit pretty much every shot side hill, wedge shots, pitch shots, bunker shots, and I'm not having to manage all this because basically what he's doing it's a lot of it's a rapid head dropping that's dropping at a faster rate than his hands are lowering.
Yeah.
So, if I wanted to, Adam Scott, probably my favorite swing ever, the hand lowering and the club head lowering, the rate of that is very similar. So this club can start pitching out, same thing on the downswing. The club should be behind your hands when it's above your hands. Once it hits the switch point, I want the club delivered out in front of me. I'm still hitting from the inside, but I'm not hitting from the inside. This would be like the mini tour death move, right? I had it too.
That's the shank, that's the block, that's the
Well, that's the high hands, club staying inside to the ball. Whereas this one, if I do it correctly, and this is lowering the right amount at the right time, as soon as it hits level to the ground, my handle works towards me and the club is pitching outside my hands because it's below my hands again. Now there, I'm rotating. The club can hit a few degrees from the inside. The face is pretty quiet. So that's to me, that's a neutral swing that can hit all the shots.
Okay, I'm going to make a statement, Mike, and I want you to respond because I'm the guy that Shaun was just describing. Okay, I'm left-handed. I learned that you got to hit it from the inside to drive it better. So I got so much like that. And next thing I was doing it too much because I've gone beyond the point of no returns, which I think golfers need to realize because there's a tipping point to everything. You do the right thing until a point and you keep doing it, then you've helped yourself to the other side of the problem.
Yep.
Oh, 100% correct.
Yeah, so anyway, so here's the thing. So I get to call Rory McIlroy a lot when I'm out on the golf course, right? And arguably the greatest driver of the golf ball in the history of ever. And if you watch him, now you guys got the data, I know. And I would watch him like when I'd stand over him at the caddy view from like 20 feet away. And I swear from the top of the swing, and for the folks watching, I'd almost see his right elbow above his left faster than I've ever seen in my swing, where when I was coming down, you'd see so much of my trailing elbow because
exactly
eye, and I'm coming like way from the inside. And I'm looking at Rory going, what the hell? He almost looks like he's got this right elbow, like he's punching down on the ground, but the body's pushing it away from it. I come back here to my little garage thing here. I try this. I'm like, geez, look at I'm hitting this thing square in the face every single time.
Yeah.
And the ball's not going left, strangely.
Right.
So I put a little video up and I like, this is my feel. And I'm tipping the shaft and my right elbow's high and I'm doing slow motion. You should have seen the hate I got on social media for what I was doing there. But I'm like, I watch Rory at high speed and I actually see that right elbow show high more than underneath the arm too long.
Mike, tell them what you always used to say when we used to have a desk in a different spot and you could really see that when you're at a different angle, right?
Yeah. So we would do lessons and I would be running the gears in the corner where those barber chairs are, which is the same view. You could really see what you're talking about. And anytime we have a tour player in, you're exactly right. So when you rotate properly, that wants to make the club lay down. Okay. If you do nothing else. So that weight of that club, what Shaun was saying, if you get it up to the top correctly, it should help you put the club in position starting down. Now, you have to apply a counter force to that because in less than a quarter of a second, you've got to get that club that's trying to lay down back on the other side of your hands.
Oh, yeah.
And when you see those fast players do that, you're exactly right. They are leveraging that whole right arm and trying to throw that weight the opposite way. When you get it going into the top kind of laid off, what Shaun was saying, all of your force now is getting that club to come out way, way, way too soon. And when you do that, when you've been under, like we're kindred spirits as far as that goes, get that under going late, you can't get it on top enough. It's a great feeling to have when you can just try to hammer that thing down over the top.
Okay, one more thing.
Yeah.
We're staying on the shallowing for a long time, Shaun, but I'm going to make a comment, let you just respond. Yeah. With my daughter, I've taught her since she was a kid. I've never, ever used the word stuck. Never. Okay. It's like a professional jargon that I feel stuck. And I'm watching her the one day and she's been playing a bunch and it's seriously inside out and the club's drooping too much on the way down. And I'm like, so what's going on? And then she obviously moves the ball back in her stance to make sure she catches it, which adds an entire set of circumstances. And she said to me, she goes, Dad, I just feel like I'm stuck. She's can't get the club head back to the ball. And I was like, you hallelujah, because there's so many golfers that are stuck, and then they're manipulating all different ways to get the thing back in front of them and back to the golf ball.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say, I think most golfers, when they say they feel stuck, the club is underlaid.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you can't hit out of the rough.
Yep.
Especially down here in the Bermuda rough. You can't get enough angle of attack to hit out of the rough. And it's a really handcuffed feeling of like, if this lie isn't perfect, like Shaun was saying, a 3-wood off of a uneven lie. That's kind of the truth detector shot. If you can't do that, then you know you've got an issue with the plane that club's coming down on.
And I'll add to that, you're going to suck out of fairway bunkers.
So think 100%. You can't hit a fairway bunker.
The great strikers of all time, like VJ and Sevi and all these guys, they'd practice on the beach.
Yeah.
You'll steepen that sucker up quickly to make sure you get if the ball position's in the right place.
And then the other part about being stuck, we see a lot, is, someone trying to make a backswing where they're pulling their trail elbow behind them a little bit too much, and then they turn the rotation on. Well, if your trail elbow is behind you late in the downswing, that's that stuck feeling too, where everything shoots out late, out away from you, you get the blocks and hooks. And one more thing I wanted to add real quick about the Rory, where you saw him getting on top of it. I mean, he finishes his swing. He's got the beautiful little sickle where the club's working this way. Mm-hmm. When he turns on the rotation, that club is trying to do, the weight of the club is trying to do that. So what you're seeing with Rory's plane of his club, he's having to put a strong motion this way into the club. So it's your kinetics versus kinematics discussion. I mean, otherwise the club would go like this. So he's getting up on top of it with that arm, and that's what we're seeing, because he's such a powerful rotator.
And it's Mark, he does that. He does that, and he does that, and you guys will know because you got the data. He hits the thing seriously from the inside with a driver. I mean, it looks like he's fighting on top of it. It's not outside in.
No. He's fighting to keep it even more from getting underneath.
Yeah.
And to your point, Mark, you've such a great observation with it. You said it looked like his right elbow was higher.
Yeah.
At that point, the tour average is about ½ inch higher than the lead elbow. And the rest of us were taught the opposite. Get that elbow
I was taught this
underneath.
For years.
Yeah.
This, and then twist it closed, and it just about drove me out of the game.
Okay, well, I've got other concepts I want to talk about, but I got to stay here because I feel like you guys are uncovering the gold. Because here's the thing, right? I've talked to legends of the game, and you'll say to them, "What's the most important thing?" And they'll be like, transition between back and downswing, and changing gears from winding up to delivering. So this is part of transition. So here's the thing too. I think you're beginning to make the case, guys, where guys who are like excessively bowed in the wrist at the top, or whatever the case might be, they're throwing in another set of circumstance, because from what I understand from your sickle, if you've got that wrist flexed at the top, that club's looking more away from you, that's naturally too deep, and you're going to have to rotate the heck out of it to square it up. Hence a Victor Hovland or someone like that. Am I right in my assumptions here?
Yeah, and it's a little bit of a layoff move. So unless you put another move in there, it's gonna want to start tumbling over. So we don't teach it. A bowed left wrist at the top. It's not something. If someone has a super weak grip and they do it, and they're a good player, that's one thing. But if I'm working with somebody that's struggling, that comes in here for a golf school, whatever it may be, I'm not. I can't. Mike, have we ever really told somebody to? I can't remember ever telling anybody to cramp their left wrist.
We haven't told anyone to do it. We've had to get a number of people out of it because most golfers go to that, or they tell us they've gone to that as an attempt to try to get a stronger club face coming down, not be so open. And it doesn't do that.
It doesn't. So, it just doesn't. It doesn't.
Well, okay. Yes. I need to pivot because I'm going to go here. I'm going to
go. You opened this can of worms.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll do more podcasts. So here, I'm going to build off that because you've talked about the right arm a bunch. So I want to get there. But first, you did a really cool video. Well, all of them are cool. But this one, I was like, I'm so glad someone's saying this, because deep down, my hero is Bob Jones. And I don't believe you position the club through the swing. I believe you swing the club through the positions. And the great swingers of a golf club do that. There's no excess manipulation. All right. And then now we live in the era of speed, which is understandable. So you get the ground reaction force crew that are saying you're going to push off the ground. And then they'll say, well, if you want to hit it harder, you got to swing back faster. So I see golfers that look like angry cat's tails with a club moving back and forth and whipping around the show. They're not completing the wind up. They're not moving correctly, but they are trying to go faster. And you guys did a post that's like, man, give the club time. I was like, finally, somebody's saying this, because Bob Jones, to get back to him, made a statement one time, and I paraphrased to say, if you could teach timing, whoever figures that out has got the secret to the game, right? So you like give the 3-wood time. Now, you talked about the 3-wood being like the barometer of the uneven lie. Talk about the time back and down and how people might be trying to get too hasty in the interest of garnering more speed.
I would say, and Shaun will chime in on this as well, because I think he was the one that did that video. One of the earliest things we learned when we had a big enough data set with the pros, and we've got, I don't know, 20 times more amateurs than we got professionals in the database, and we got a lot of pros, is if you could separate them in two distinct groups. If you look at AMs are slow early in the backswing, fast late in the backswing, where you see the club bound, like you said, the cat's tail going everywhere. Pros are faster in that kind of the takeaway area, and then that club is coasting and dying into the top, and because that transition is so vital for club head speed. Those are two very, like, you can almost guarantee an AM is going to fall in that first category. Now, there's always exceptions, but
Right.
understanding that the club has speed early, like it's going through those positions, like you said, and then it kind of coasts into the top when the body's kind of almost getting reoriented. It is starting to change directions and all that. You don't want that club. The club puts so much force on your arms and wrists and everything to be bouncing around. And then you almost have to stall the body to try to catch that bounce and get it coming out of the same window every time, which is nearly impossible.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't apply. It just does not add speed. It adds speed up here when you're catching that rebound, but not down by the ball.
What does Sam Snead say? I never seen nobody hit the ball with a backswing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the backswing is so important to set up what you want to do in the downswing, but the speed into the top is such a killer.
Yeah, you want to do the work early in the backswing. So it's having a little bit of more of a brisk, first part of the backswing allows everything to kind of die as your body's starting to get ready for transition. And I think for me, that helped my swing almost more than anything. Once we figured out there's a drill that we give almost everybody. It's like a catch-all. We pick up the trail heel, swing the club forward, trail heel down, swing the club back like you're hitting a backwards shot with like a 7-iron.
Yeah.
And then let it die. As it gets to the top, it's going to feel like it's dying, and then you unwind. So it's that quick, slow, quick. I think it also assists kind of getting the muscles stretched early. I mean, we have Fast Eddie here, so I'm so lucky. I mean, I pick Fast Eddie's brain constantly, and he's helped me with my club head speed. So that's one of his things, is like a little bit not reckless, but a little quicker here going back, and then it can die as you gather this thing up. And a lot of times we can add club head speed to people just from that. So that there is a case to be made for a little bit quicker early, but like Mike said, the kiss of death is if it's like you're going to your car in 20 miles an hour and trying to slam it in reverse. You don't want to do that.
There's details. The details matter.
Yeah.
Shaun, sit down so I can see your face for this one.
Sure.
Make
sure I'm not lying.
He's so handsome, and we're looking at his midriff most of the time. Here's the thing. You did a great job one time of making a comment, and you're like, it's about vernacular. And this gets back to the understanding. It's like, stop talking about the backswing and the downswing. It's a swing, and they work in conjunction with each other. All right. And no one, it's like people tell you what to do, but they never tell you how much and when. Like, we'll fold your elbow. It's like, well, you've got folded, like it's gradual, whatever. Right?
Yeah.
No one's putting context to the thing. So when they talk about the speed and they talk about speed, they don't well, you got to use the body and it's faster than it slows down. Now, 2 comments and let you respond. Bryson DeChambeau has told me he got longer after spending time with Kyle Berkshire, who goes from one foot to the other to set that backswing off, right? So it's built out of the ground.
Yeah.
And then I'm talked about my daughter a lot. I hope she's not listening. She was not into golf, but somehow I tricked her into the game. And now I'm regretting my decision. Just kidding. But as a little girl, I took her we were hitting golf balls and I tried to make it fun. So we went to get ice cream and I took her to the playground. And I put her on a swing. And I'm like, swing back and forth. So off she goes. And I'm like, tell me what you feel. And she goes, I go fast, slow, right? Back and forth on the playground swing. I'm like, yes. I'm like, what else do you feel? She goes, I feel heavy when I come down. I'm like, yes. And then she hits me with one. She's now 8. And I wasn't expecting this. And she says, if I go too far, it buckles. All right. Think of the chain links.
Yeah, for sure.
And I've done a lot of that.
And I'm like, Izzy, what you're feeling there is what your golf swing should feel like. Because, in the swing, you swing back and then it's like, you say it stalls and it dies. Then it swings back down and she got the heavy feeling. And if you watch her swing now, everyone's like, she's got such a good swing. I'm like, she just understands what it should feel like. The simplest swing you can get.
That's a great teaching point.
Now I've got to go read our lease to see if we can put a swing set out front to get people to feel the same thing. That's awesome.
No, think about it. I recently did a show, and look, every human being is athletic to a certain extent, and we've all done sports, and you guys do a great job of kind of, saying, hey, this is like throwing a football, or Hogan was like it's skipping stone. I taught a guy who was like a 300 bowler the other day, and he hit massive slice. And I said to him, bro, how do you roll that thing from right to left? And he showed me, swing your club like that. And
it's a great lesson right there. I've used that one before, and the top spin forehand. Those two are my go-tos.
Yeah, tennis players, they can hit a draw as Nadal cannot hit a slice for his life. I've seen him, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about the handle draggers, because this one's ruining a lot of golfers to me.
Yeah.
You guys did a video where you basically showed where impact was made and was almost to the side of your body. And I used this and it helped me because I was a pull guy. And right now, so I got in the bunker and I'm like, now screw it. So I was trying to actually hit the sand like out here somewhere. When I got the sand struck, I'm like, we'll just push out of this thing. And the club was landing straight in the right place every single time. So talk about that image of where impact actually happens and how you create that shaft lean at contact, please.
This is right in Shaun's wheelhouse.
Yeah,
big handle dragger.
Just it's finally getting out of it to the point where we can measure shaft lean on gears. I used to be 13, which is crazy, way overdone. McElroy's like 7.5 or so with a 7-iron, and I was taught to hit a lot of these like flying wedge punch shots for hours.
Okay, how many golfers do you see on social right now where they're hitting these shots and they're following through and the left wrist is still bowed, the lead wrist still bowed? I'm like, gosh, people, do you actually realize what you're doing to yourselves here?
It doesn't really transfer great to a full swing. And if you look at, watch the leaderboard at the tour event. There's nobody hitting a full shot, sawing this thing off like this. So that's the first thing I'll say. Because out there in the real world, you got to hit it high and you got to hit it far. And dragging the handle a mile it won't work, basically, right? So couple things about shaft lean. If this is a dress, I'm standing here. I'll try to explain this. I know people are listening. If you stand at a dress, move your arms to your side of your body more, so your hands are kind of over your trail foot.
Yeah.
And then keep them there and shift your hips forward a few inches and pivot your body. That's your impact. So you got to feel like you're hitting the ball more off your trail side. That's number one. Okay. Number two is if I just stand here and we do like the swing set, but only waist high to waist high, and I'm letting the club respond to my body motion.
Yeah.
So if you're not watching me on YouTube, I'm pivoting my body and just kind of like seesawing the club back and forth. Now, that's going to happen in every good swing. Okay. Now, how I move my body determines when that release comes out. So every good swing, these wrists are working this way. A little bit of radial flexion extension on both sides. If I hang on my back foot, that happens too early.
That's flip.
That's
That's flipping, and that's where everyone's like, I'm flipping, and so they isolate the wrists instead of moving the body appropriately.
And this is the same thing as shallowing. We don't ever talk about shaft lean in a golf lesson. This is what we got to put more of our videos out there of us teaching, because the people will be like, you guys never even said shaft lean. And within a few swings, I can get somebody with shaft lean and they're throwing it. So you want to feel like your body's in a spot where you can throw it and you got that normal amount of shaft lean. So it post impact, the butt of the club points back at your body again. That's how the club's going to go around fast. You're going to hit it high. And oh, by the way, the face is going to square up because you're not having to over twist it with all this handling. So the only reason I get kind of like worked up about some of this stuff, because I was given a lot of bad lessons by a lot of teachers that, you know, were good, but I had a lot of bad lessons from them. So here I am.
Well, look, necessity is the mother of invention, right? And
Yeah.
I feel like the real truth tellers are folks that it's not like you're following the crowd, but you're looking at the concept and going, okay, is this really true? And the sad thing about golf is, look, every golfer wants to get better. It's the reason why you guys are successful and why the show does so well, because people are like, okay, we can trust what we're hearing over here. Because you've been for 4 or 5 lessons and you're just doling out money and you're getting the same talking points and you're still hitting. I want to just mind that just a little bit further. Because like you talk about that movement, the seesawing back and forth, and Mike, this is where I want your commentary. Again, back to Rory, for argument's sake, because he's as efficient as anybody if you want to create speed and power. The guy's my size, he's 5 foot, not very much, 10, and hits it a ton. He creates that shaft lean by the way the body moves, but that club is rehinged so much still out in front of his body on the front side of him, it's freaking impossible. And for the longest time, I felt like I was making this big windshield wiper move over there, and the club's never overtaking me. And so who do you think was not very powerful when he was playing?
Exactly.
Right. So have at it there, please.
That's, I mean, you touched on a lot of good points there. I don't think I ever had a lesson. I had a lot of lessons where I was always told impact was happening on the wrong side of the body. So going back to the earlier conversation about concepts, if you're trying to get your hands across your midline, which, I mean, I can't tell you how many hours I've spent, days, months, weeks,
yes,
of an alignment stick sticking out of the butt of my club, right? Trying to miss my ribs and pull the hands across my body. You got to do 2 things. One, you got to get your arms way out of position, and then 2, you got to stop rotating.
Yeah.
And you can do that for, you know, a pitch shot and punch it under a tree and all that. But when, like you said, when you're trying to generate speed and you're trying to do that same thing with a 3-wood or a driver or a 7-iron you're trying to hit up in the air, something's got to give there. And you can either do that and not hit it very Rory-like, or you can do Rory-like things and hit it up to the moon and far. And it's that understanding that concept that Shaun just showed was probably, for my own game, the biggest light bulb moment that we've had. Like, oh, the hands stay on the trail side of the body almost about 98% of the swing.
Yeah.
And like that, I was trying to get my hands to the front side of the body as fast as I possibly could.
That was me.
And when you ask a player who's coming in that's been trying the same thing for 20 years, they're trying to do the same thing. So just, you hit the nail on the head when you said everything should be on the table. And this is what we've done. We've had a lot of lessons, played golf for a long time, as you have. We took everything we've ever heard recommended to the golf swing and put it under the microscope to see if that's what's actually happening. Some of the things, it's absolutely true. Many of the things, it's absolutely wrong.
Yeah.
And when nothing's off limits and you challenge everything you've ever been told, you start to rearrange what you prioritize in a lesson. And because you see golfer after golfer after golfer, because it's such a information passed down kind of industry on our side of the lesson, that players have all been fed that same information.
Yeah.
And we don't have to anymore, because now we can see and measure this stuff like never before.
Hey, Mark, do you want
great players have always been doing it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They've always been doing it right. It's just we can understand it better now.
Well, here's the thing, and I said this to Ian Baker Finch one time, who's a major champion, right? We were playing
Hmm.
golf together, and I said to him, I'm like, Finchy, here's the problem with me. And he sort of looked quizzically, and I said, I've been teaching golf since 1996. And for the longest time, because there were brighter minds than young me at the time, or not maybe brighter, people that were in the front of magazines and stuff, I was like, well, maybe there's something that I'm not doing. Yet everyone I was teaching was always hitting the ball better, quickly, too.
Hmm.
Then you could say, well, it was band-aids or whatever. I'm like, band-aids or schmand-aids. If the ball's going straighter, we're doing the right thing, right?
Hmm.
Because there's also, balancing,
Right.
understanding neutral in the swing. So I said to him, I always felt that there was something else and I was missing it. But I've gotten to a place now where I've talked to enough bright minds where I'm like, shit, over all these years, I wish I'd listened to me instead of thinking that there was something else. And that's what you guys are doing right now. If people care to listen with the data, you're proving what you're saying, and people can be like, well, I can't really argue with this. Then you just got to be prepared mentally to go with what might feel like a different feel. And then
Yeah.
you're well on your way to better golf.
Yeah. I mean, the feel is irrelevant because we're always asked, what should I feel to do that? And I was like, I can't tell you. I can tell you what I feel, but I'm probably going to be built way different, have a different history of, injuries. Shaun and I could do the same thing. We've got different bodies, so we're going to look different doing it. And we're going to feel drastically different things because we were taught different things coming up. So the feel should be unique to the player. And you can feel all sorts of things to accomplish the same movement.
Yeah.
But man, if you start with the right concept, you're going to give yourself the best chance possible.
Sensational. Okay. Gosh, I haven't got to everything over here, but I'll go let you go. And I've got another call waiting. One more thing. The pass fail drill. That's like, I set this up. You go, literally, you can only pass or fail this test. And so I go try it. I'm like, these bastards are right. so I want you to share the pass fail drill because, in its own way, it's a great way for people to get an idea of what represents good delivery of the golf club into the golf ball, please.
Now, give me some feedback because we use that name for a
No.
lot of stuff in lessons.
No, you guys would
Oh my,
wind up.
my,
You guys would
Mike
wind up
does
and
it.
then deliver and try and stop.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
no
one of
way.
our new favorites. Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
you mean halfway down?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
This
You want me to kind of do it?
Yeah,
let
go
me
ahead.
just this goes back for let's Sean jump in. This goes back to what you were saying earlier about wind. This is all about the wind, which is so important.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you want to try it, it's just make a normal feeling backswing and then put the brakes on when your left arm's about parallel to the ground
Mm-hmm.
and just see where, because that's kind of you've already put the inputs in, like for the downswing with the body and the club. The rest of it, I mean, this thing is gone. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying you can't do anything, obviously, but you've pretty much programmed this flight pattern here.
Mm-hmm.
So you take it up and then put the brakes on, and you will see some crazy stuff in a lesson. You'll see this. You'll see this. You'll
Big,
see
big
the
over the
this.
top. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
Release
you'll
some
see a
wire.
little bit of everything. So what it just teaches them, oh, I see. If I just lower the arms and pivot my hips back to square by this time, I don't have to do a whole lot of steering with the arms and wrist or making a bowed wrist. Unless, if someone comes with a super cup wrist, you might have to coach them up a little bit. But just getting this lowering as your body's turning and get it somewhat on a playable spot here with the pitch of the club. I mean, they can learn a lot in a short period of time, which is, great when you're trying to help somebody.
You know where this resonated with me because I'm thankful to call David Ledbetter a mentor, right? And he had a thing that I still use to this day called the pump drill, where you wind up and you basically pump down to there once,
Yeah.
twice, then hit it.
Yeah.
And I would never miss doing this kind of thing. In fact, Victor Hovland played like that for a little bit. He didn't pump
Yeah.
multiple times,
Yeah.
come down once and go. And I'm like, gosh, why don't I play like this?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would never ever miss. But essentially, when you're doing that, you can't early extend and you can't manipulate.
Yeah.
You just can't. I mean, the club is going to redirect into almost the perfect delivery spot every single time.
Yeah. Led
Yeah,
had a lot
you
of
get
good drills.
he was a fantastic drills. You get such an amplified feel because we don't feel anything to the golf swing until it's after it's happened. But if you're stopping halfway down and your body's out of position, the club's out of position, and you put the brakes on there, you're like, there's no way I can get the club to the ball from here.
It takes some
It
talent.
is such an it's so amplified what you're doing.
Okay, one more thing, because this has just come to me. This is how my mind works. You know, everyone gets so wrapped up in like what I've got to do or what should I do, and this is where I should be, and blah blah blah. In the end, because you just said, man, you get you like, how am I going to get this thing back to the ball? In the end, it's not how the club interacts with the ball. Yes.
That's it. That's all we're doing. Managing that weight on the end of that stick.
I feel like there's easy ways to do it and there's harder ways to do it. And that's what we try to help people figure out.
Well, you guys are certainly helping folks with the latter. Bravo to the both of you. Keep shining. But before I let you go, please share for the folks where they can find you guys, because I'm sure they will be looking.
Yeah, we've got social media channels, YouTube, Athletic Motion Golf. We've got 240 something thousand subscribers on there. And we've got an Instagram channel. And then if you want to check out something really cool that we've been working on, we're excited about, it's the Swing Coach app. You can set it up. It acts like having a coach in your pocket. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. We've really been blessed to be part of it. And that's kind of the places that you can find us.
Mike, you're the brains in the operation. Anything to
Absolutely.
No, Shaun nailed it, man. He always does.
You guys are the best. I'm thankful to know you, but more importantly, I'm thankful that you're doing what you're doing. Appreciate you, man. From all
You're
of
the man.
Thank you.
Same to you,
Thank
Mark.
you.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate it, buddy. Thanks.